Hey, and we'll talk about that, keeping your eyes and ears open for deals that are coming to you and think creatively because sometimes you don't even know it, but you might be sitting on something that you could own and you just need it for the right deal, for the right structuring. You could do it yourself. Are you in Upper Marlboro, Baltimore,
Northern
Fredericksburg?
Northern
Bowie?
Virginia.
Okay,
Hmm.
Reston, uh, what part?
Haymarket, Manassas area. I'm in Prince William
Manassas.
County. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was
I'm
in the
closer.
DMV.
Yeah, so I'm closer to the Loudoun County side, like
Okay.
Ashburn. Yeah.
There's a great community in Reston and also in Front Royal for
Okay,
investors.
yeah. From Royal is past me. It's like going towards the mountains. I don't do that area.
Yeah, Manassas is cool. I like that price point.
That's where my list that I have now that the investor has, that's not moving.
All right, well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll circle back on that.
Mhm.
Akia, did you want to
Yes,
go?
sir.
Did you want to go a little background?
No, not at all. I'll let my members do that.
Okay. Joanne, where are you from? Where are you logging in from? And if you're busy, you could type on the chat. There's like a messaging um, on the bottom here. And the mute button is on the left. There's a little microphone button.
Oh, okay. I was going on top. Could you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Hi, I'm Joanne. So I'm actually new here. It's my first time. I'm actually working on becoming a real estate agent. So I'm trying to kind
Okay.
of try to see, just kind of get acquainted with, I wanted to get into investing at some point, but I figured I want to learn the business first and see how that works. And then hopefully, once I get my license, investing, it'd be one of the things that I can kind of, get into.
That's the best way to do it.
Hopefully
And I
sooner
think a
than
lot
later.
of us on the call could attest to real estate and what they've done in their life. And when you're in a transaction, you feel it more and you're able to empathize and to relate to an avatar or a niche a little bit better. So can't wait to hear. And where are you logging in from, Joanne?
I'm in California, LA area.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in Pasadena.
Oh, very good.
Bettina?
Hi, so I'm Bettina. I am in the Chicago area.
All right, okay.
I'm new, but I'm not new. So I've been licensed for 7 years. Mostly all that time, my license has been in holding. So I recently just became active again. So I haven't sold anything. So really, I'm new. And yeah, I would love to invest.
And Nick,
All
just
right,
pause for
good.
1 second. I
Go
didn't
ahead.
welcome our members. I want to welcome our members for joining the call. Nick, how do I pronounce your last name?
Despotidis.
Despotidis. Nick Despotidis is going to host the call today on all things investor related. So if you have any loan questions, financing questions, if you have a deal going on, I know Janaea has one, and you want some insight on how to work with your investor clients, this is a good time to ask the questions with the man that does it so well. So make sure you're active in the chat, ask your questions. Again, this is the time to do so, and thank you all for joining.
Okay, so to warm up and to go off that, thank you. To warm up the chat, you could put a 1 if you're more interested in content that I could talk about that for investing, working with investors, a 1. 2 if you're looking to invest yourself and you want to get out of the call. 1 if you want to work with investors, 2 if you're looking to invest yourself. So I'll finish around the room. I think I have 3 more people. Tanya?
Hi, I'm Tanya Carter. I'm a part of the Agent Lab, and I am interested in investing. I have done some deals with investors, so I'm here to learn whatever you have to offer.
Okay, and what market are you in, Tanya?
I'm sorry, what?
What market?
I am in the San Fernando Valley.
Okay. I will be hitting you up. I like the San Fernando Valley.
Great.
And Angie.
Hi, I am looking right now to work with investors and then eventually investing in real estate myself. And I am in Metro Atlanta.
Oh, cool. A lot of clients from California move to Atlanta. It's like one of the
Awesome.
routes. I don't know if Kenny's experienced that as well.
Cool.
So great. Well, I'm glad you all logged on, and thank you, Kenise and Akia, for having me. I think community is so important, and it could be isolating real estate. You're doing your thing, life gets busy, but it's good to have a community to pick you up, not to give you a handout, but a hand up, right? So through education, through networking, and really not only being nice, but mentoring someone, really taking someone through and spending the time when you're really stuck. So I'm excited for you guys. I think there's no better time than right now to be in the market as an investor, as an agent, and a person that works with investors. Because right now, interest rates are high, and then what does that mean? Prices go down. So naturally, supply is going to go up, and there's a lot of good opportunities out there. It's just how do you spot the good opportunities? I think I'm just going to put everybody on mute. Investing 101 for realtors. We could always have a part 2 of this conversation. Happy to have it. There's tons of topics. Kenise and I were really going through all the different aspects. I've been in the business for about a decade. I've served about 159 families, 123 million in volume. I'm a girl dad, so I've got these 2 beautiful girls. We moved from the DMV 3 years ago. It took us 2 years to find something in California. So moved from producing and selling 20 a year in Washington, D.C. Now I've sold about 6 million this year. And it was hard work. But I did it for these girls. That's my big why. That's what keeps me going, keeps me focused, right? When I want to do things, I say, what is my dollar for dollar best activity I could be doing now to make money, right? Not only being busy, but being good busy. I'm originally from New York. You'll find me on the weekends mowing my lawn and hopping between soccer games. Then I have a community, Grid LA Investor Club. Grid is a national community, just like you guys are plugged in with Agent Labs. It's amazing to be a part of something, and we love collaborating with other communities, and that's how actually we were connected. So I run an investment club. Grid is also in all different regions. They are in, I don't know if they're in Atlanta, but they are in Chicago, they're in Virginia, and they're here in LA. So where did I come from? Like where, I always kind of tell a story whenever I'm working with clients. And it really helps kind of pin people down when you frame it like that, whether it's a listing appointment or trying to win a buyer over. My grandfather, I'm Greek, I'm from New York, from Queens, and my grandfather actually still operates a hobby shop in an apartment building, and he owns the commercial building, the whole thing. And I said, Grandpa, like, you don't make any money. How do you afford this big spot in Queens? You're 88 years old. Why are you doing this? And he says, well, the tenants pay for my lifestyle. So later on, I was in banking. Now I understood what that meant when you are doing a 9-to-5, which it used to be a luncheonette, like for decades, since the 1920s, my family had it. But now he's doing it for his lifestyle. So he traded the income, right? Making an income, trying to open up the shop, run the luncheonette, but now it's wealth building. So that's kind of the mindset that, these communities that we're a part of, it's, we're not going to be able to be selling houses forever. What if we don't show up? Who's going to sell the house, right? So why don't we start buying assets financially and creatively? to build our portfolio and wealth so we could get over time the wealth that, you know, our grandfathers or our friends have been accustomed to. So who in here will put a 1 if you have family members that experience wealth, and if you understand this, put a 1 in the chat. 2, if it's kind of foreign to you, you weren't grown up around wealth, that'll help me kind of gear towards how you start off building your wealth and building your portfolio. And that's his Instagram. He's got a cool little following. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to break here. Janaya, do you have trust? Does your client trust you? Oh, thank you. That's good to know. Does your client trust you? Janaya has a client. Many of us work with investors or have worked with investors. And I think the number one thing is trust. Do they trust you? Or is it kind of eerie, you're kind of gaining that trust?
No, I don't think he does, to be honest. I don't. Because every time I give him advice, he don't really take it. He goes to Chat GPT.
Okay. So that's important. And sometimes you can control the things you can control, like yourself and what you present to the client, and you cannot control what he's going to do with it. I always tell my clients, I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You want to hear that you could get $200,000 over the asking price, but that's not what you need to hear. What you need to hear is that there is X amount of houses on the market. They're taking 60 days. So if you realistically want to sell this month, you're going to need to sell at this price. I know you want to sell at that price. I know you want to hear that, but then hire someone else that will tell you what you want to hear, because that's not the relationship I want to be in. I don't want to be in a relationship where I give false expectations, because at the end of the day, to feed my family and to protect my license, I need to have listings that sell. So here are 3 questions. So trust is huge, and sometimes it's not a good fit because the relationship is built over time. Some of the investors that I work with, I send them 10 properties and they won't look at them. And I could send them as many ARVs and whatever comps. I could send them as many properties as over time. But what really matters is they trust my judgment. They understand that I know the game, and they understand that it's a two-way street. So they're learning from me as I'm learning from them. So let me ask you this, Janaya. 1, does he have a mortgage?
No,
Or being on it?
but he told me he did.
He owns it free and clear. That's great.
Yep.
So 2 is how much is it listed for?
We have it listed right now for $374. It probably should be like $350 or $360, but he doesn't want to reduce the price. And he didn't do all the renovating and updates like he should have.
So I'm going to underwrite this property 3 ways as an investor. 1 is a fix and flip. What if is there any area to value added? Is there a basement? Is there a garage? Is there land? And I'm going to underwrite it. 2, the second way of underwriting my 3-way system, the second way to underwrite a property is midterm to short-term rental. Airbnb. Is it Airbnb friendly? What does that look like? I'll send it to my buddy. It's called Airbnb Calc. You need a subscription. I don't even know if I think it does give you 1 free. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining. I don't know if it gives you 1 free, but Airbnb Calc is great. And that's the second way I'll underwrite it, because more than likely, do you think Airbnb gives more or less than a long-term tenant?
More.
More. So I'm going to see if there's an opportunity for me to make more and underwrite it in a way where it's a little bit more advantageous that I could cash flow. Because the end of the opportunity, it's got to make sense for me. because now I'm looking at it as an investor. Even if it's my listing, now you're not my client. Now I'm thinking about buying it. So I'm underwriting it 3 ways. One is a fix and flip model. So how much could I put into it? And is there what we call ARV, after repair value, or is the market have good housing supply? Is there houses that trade for 425, 450 if I add square footage?
No.
The third way, so
It's a townhome.
townhome.
It's a
townhome
townhome, so
condo.
we can't add.
Yeah.
this is the model that works. Townhomes or not townhomes?
Townhome condo, and the condo fee is probably, it's a little over 300 for both
The
HOA and condo.
Okay. So third way, and because this method is no matter what, because at the end of it, I'll tell you the same line, because they all have a number to it. It just doesn't make sense. So the third way is a long-term tenant or SRO model, single room occupancy. So if I rented out each room, which is very popular right now, how much would I get? And it's very similar to Airbnb. So usually, so it's a townhome. So I'll say those are the 3 strategies that I look at as an investor if I was buying your house. So can I fix and flip it? What would that look like if we fixed the kitchen, if we staged it? And I would buy it at 90%. I would depend it depending on the value. So you would have to get it for a number. Let's say it's listed for 375. How much would it be if you staged it and you fixed everything in the house? Would you be able to get 425?
No, but we could have got at least 390, 400 what he was supposed to, what he close to one that listed for in the beginning. But he
So
would have got that if he would have did everything he was supposed to do as far as renovating and getting
Okay.
the property in order. Yeah.
So I'll say, as an investor, the number that they throw around is 75% of ARV. And the reason why we can't offer 100% as investors, listen to this, is because of the risk. You're shifting that risk to me. Your risk is you hold on to the property and you can't sell it for 375. Now you're shifting that risk to me, so it's now my liability. So the only reason I'm going to take that liability over is if I could carry the note buy it at 75%. That's
Is that
usually
similar
legitimate.
to like subject to, or is that different?
That's different. So the second way, I could pay 90% of what it's worth. So 400 times 90% is, someone good with that. 320,000. I could buy it for 320,000, but you have to carry the note. So meaning you act as the bank. How much money do you need? How important is it? So if I was able to give you, just like the bank, $2,000 a month, and it rents for, right? I did my Airbnb calc. Condo doesn't let Airbnb, so I can't do that. Does it allow midterm single rent occupancy? No. So it only allows a long-term tenant, and I know a long-term tenant would pay $2,500. So I would say you could sell or finance it. I will give you 5, depending on the deal, certain amount of money down, and you give me a certain amount of money a month. And that's creative financing. Subject to means that there's a mortgage. That's a little bit different. And I don't like those because then I don't want to inherit a mortgage. I want you to be the bank because I don't want to pay any interest. And that's another story. So underwrite it 3 ways. But the trust and relationships over time, maybe this investor isn't the one, but the ones that I have relationships with, and that man is insane. And sometimes you just take it and you know that it's going to, for every 4 listings, and Kenise could tell you for every 4 listings that she has on the market, 1 will sell. Or 1 won't sell. But it's a slow burn. So you have to hold this listing on for 6 months. And then do you want to be in that relationship for 6 months?
So the agreement is almost over.
Okay. So thank you for pulling that example through. So I have to qualify their model. Does this gentleman have a model, right? Most investors have a model. So I have to qualify them when they're on the phone with any investor or any buyer in that matter. And Akia could tell you this, that you need to qualify investors as much not as much money they have, but what is their model? How many have you done? That's the first question I ask an investor. I don't know if Kenise asked
It's all about
this.
performance. Yeah, it's all about performance on the investor
Yeah,
side.
this is first time.
I'm talking your language, risk.
Mhm.
If you've done this 10 times before, heck yeah, I'll give you a loan. That's the way I qualify an investor. Oh, you got 2 projects. Could I check them out? And that's what a loan officer do. Send me your other properties that you've done. You have a track record. Success leaves clues. So whenever I work with an investor, I want to make sure they have a good track record and who they're working with, like how they talk, how they treat their employees. It's really weird, but it's really important to me because I'm going to be an employee of you because I'm going to be spending 2 hours a day looking for a property, which I'll show you. Or I'll be underwriting your deals or doing the loans for you. I want to make sure that you treat people nicely and you're realistic. Your communication is, you don't just talk a lot of fluff and then don't pay me at the end. Because that's number one misconception is investors don't pay. That's most of the times, but that's not the ones that that trust me and that I want to be in a relationship with. And it's the same thing when you're working with first-time home buyers. They have to trust you and they want to have to be in a relationship with you. And sometimes it's like a relationship. Sometimes you have to give them like, I don't care vibes, like I'm not into you, and kind of play those games. Totally fair game. But at the end of the day, they have to want to work with you and you have to find that dynamic. You can't be wanting to be too needy or too pushy. It's called commission breath. No one wants to work with that, especially investors. They want clear, concise analysis, numbers, they don't want you pushing a product on them. So what is their model? What is their buy box? So how do you qualify someone? What is your timeline? Got on the phone today. Well, I had to pay off my car, so it's in January because that's when my car payment's going to be due. Akia, do you do traditional and non-QM loans?
I do.
Oh, okay. So this might be a good client for you. He's looking 500,000. He wants to fix it up a little bit. He's got his GC license, but he needs to pay those things off. So I know his timeline. So now I know I'm not going to get paid today. I'm not going to get paid in 6 months. I'm going to get paid in the year. So as long as I follow up with him in January and maybe a little bit beforehand, I'm planting seeds so I get my commission check in time.
Denise has a saying, I'll need to get paid in January too. So she always says that.
What does she say?
Like if there's someone's not ready, if their transactions pushed out, she just say, I'll need to get paid in January too. It's all good.
It's all good. We are not pushy. We need to get paid, not tomorrow, but the next day. If you're ever a landlord and they want to say, I want to move in tomorrow, that's a red flag. If you're pushing them to buy tomorrow, that's a red flag. It's on their timeline. And I always say, I love this part of the process. I love looking at your model and discussing what's important to you. 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, attic space, this location, not by a busy street, sunlight. Do you like to be by entertainment? Do you like to entertain? Right? And this is a process, right? To learn their model, whether it's investor or first-time homebuyer, you have to learn their model or learn their buy box, what they like. And sometimes you'll say, you know what? I think this location actually works and we should explore that. But don't be a don't be a dog and go after everything. Keep it really clear. You're trying to make it easy and smooth for them. So after you explore 3 neighborhoods, you focus on one. Same thing with an investor. You don't want to be a jack of all trades. You want to be a specialist. You want to be a sniper when looking at properties. You want to be a specialist when executing their buy box based on their model. So actually I had a client that specifically flips in San Fernando Valley, Granada Hills, and she did an amazing job, but I kept out on that market and I found one. And it was right in her buy box. I knew exactly what she wanted. And people make decisions easier when it's relatable. She understood Granada Hills. If I give her one in Compton or one in Baltimore, she wouldn't understand it. She would look at it and it would literally take too much mind space to do the deal. So you just got to give her something that's easy or something that's easy. So I might recommend, if you're looking in San Fernando Valley, I might recommend Santa Clarita. Maybe that has a good housing stock and that's the same price point. And they're like, no, I don't want to drive. But you gave them the option, right? Just like your client, Janaya, your client, you have to give options to. Well, we could rent it. We could SRO it. We could Airbnb it. Oh, wait, we can't Airbnb it. We can't SRO. So you're kind of out of luck. Or we could flip it, but it's not going to sell for the 375. We're going to have to actually reduce it for someone that's looking to invest or to rent it. Because look at these numbers, you got to give them the options. So it always goes towards their model. That's going to make you not waste your energy. Because a lot of the times they're middlemen and they actually don't know what their model is, or they don't have the money. They're not what I call the operators. You want to talk to the operator, right? When you're on the call, the operator connects you. They might raise capital. So a lot of investors have capital. So I say, is it your money, someone else's money? How many are you doing? ARV means after repair value. Whenever I'm working with investors, I want to make sure that there's good housing inventory in the area. I drove to Hawthorne yesterday, kind of by SoFi Stadium where the Olympics are going to be. And we looked at something that was 600,000. But I was like, what makes a good property? If the ARV after I repair it is 600 and I buy it for 600, that doesn't make sense. I don't want to take that risk. But I looked at it and it had great housing stock at 850, 700, 850, 950. So that's healthy housing stock to say, I feel confident if you buy this house at 600, you could sell it for 850 because they're all the same size. They're all the same model. They're by the highway, but it's healthy. You don't want to buy something that is 850 and there's no healthy housing stock at the higher price points, right? It's just 850. That's all it's going to be. You can't change it. I don't know if you guys could relate to like good, healthy housing where their inventory is turning over, days on market are lower. There's not a lot of stuff on.
We're running
So-
into a trend where, and I believe that this is nationwide. Akia and I were just talking about this, Nick. And Janaea, Lisa Bishop is on the call. She's out in New Jersey. She can relate too. Days on market is getting longer and longer. And it sounded like, Nick, you had one too that was on market for about 3 months. So it just seems to be a thing. And so now we're starting to get some showings and starting to get, I'm starting to notice my listings are kind of picking up just a little bit because I'm thinking people are realizing not much is going to happen now that this new Fed chair is there. We might as well just go on and jump in the market instead of pausing. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm sure the same applies for the investors as well.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the curve that Kenise is talking about, or the cycle, it's this.
Yep.
A high inventory during the winter, then in the summer it goes down in inventory, everything's selling super quick. Then it goes up after July 4th, and then it goes down after September, after Labor Day. Then it goes up after Halloween, Thanksgiving. So you got to hit the market, and that's why Janaya might make sense to sign an extension, right, and just pace yourself because all of a sudden you hit the market when supply is low and demand is a little bit there, and you hit it.
We had more than 30 showings. I had one today. One of my colleagues showed the house, so it's getting a lot of attention. I mean, a lot of attention is coming in just based off of the pictures and the photos. But then when they come in a house and they see, the paint job isn't the best, the closet door mirror is cracked, the bathroom's not updated, So, and I'm gonna just be honest, he's just one of them men, what I'm learning, that doesn't listen to women and respect, our opinion and advice that I'm giving him. So after after the listing agreement is over, I'm just gonna let it go. He's not somebody that I want to continue to work with.
You could also just bring in a colleague. I mean, I fight for my listings, so I know someone's going to get paid out of this transaction, but your time is money. So, amen. If you fire him, but maybe you could bring someone that's a younger guy in your office that's a male, or because I like to work in pairs. I have a female colleague that I always bring to listing appointments just to see which one they relate to.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice, and I'm not saying to do it, but it might be an idea because in 3 months you never know who's going to get paid, and better to be paid 30% than nothing, and have him, this young gentleman or older gentleman, take the ride. And I always not afraid to partner up. So if I have something in the IE or Kenise and I could partner up, I would love to do that. If I have a buyer, she knows the market. I'd rather get 30%, 50% than nothing. Because they're going to fire you. But maybe this is a fireable act. I had a listing in Hollywood Hills where we saw the Hollywood sign, but it had problems. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't do this. And I had to let go, and now he's in foreclosure.
Yeah.
Because I left because there would be no commission left after foreclosure. That guy is such a liar. He was an investor, and he's the one that I didn't have a relationship with, right? Like I had a relationship, but I didn't vibe with them. I look at it when I started real estate a decade ago. I was like, man, how do you sell so many houses, Carlos? You're selling about 100, 120 houses, and it's pretty much you. He's like, I sell the same house, the same guy I sell about 4 or 5 houses to. I said, what? He's like, yeah. Some of my clients, they just buy a few houses. I said, a few? So you mean you don't have to take out one couple and then wait 10, 20 years to sell it? He's like, no, these investors, they buy and hold, and then you teach them to buy it again. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. So distress doesn't mean deal. So when an investor says, send me something that makes sense, usually subtract 100 to 200 grand off of what someone's asking.
Gosh.
And that's a deal.
So let me ask you this. This is a little bit off, Nick. What's the difference of working with a standard investor versus like an open door or seller advantage or, Sunday? So, one of those quick, what's the difference? Is it the same?
Relationship. It's an actual person like me, maybe in a year I'm doing a big extension, that has a buy box that actually wants to buy something to flip it or buy hold. So there's maybe 3 investors: fix and flip, buy hold, out of state. You have syndication, like where you pull all your money together. So you have to figure out what investor they are, and then they're just people, but they have a lot of money where they could get, fundraise a lot of money. So a lot of my clients raise the capital to do these flips are using other people's money, and they're doing it at a high level. And they're people, right? She's like, Nick, I love your community. Come to Culver City. I want you to list my property in Culver City. I actually lent her $50,000, and she's paying me 12% per year.
Wow.
So it's like about 1%. So I'm getting about $500 a month when I sell it. So I took a chance on her because, it could be, and we just did a personal guarantee. I trusted her, and I trusted a few other people. So sometimes if you give your money to somebody, even if it's $10,000, and give, meaning like, you could connect with me after and I could kind of point you in the right direction, but it's that relationship that gets me the $2 million listing in Culver City. I gave another gentleman in Ojai, Ventura County. I gave him $25,000, but he's not hiring me as his realtor, but I'm getting 12% of my money. So distress doesn't equal a deal. I think you instead of these AI people, these are actual people that will buy, and they'll give you feedback on what they want. It's like going to a restaurant and telling the waiter or the sommelier exactly what you want. That's a buyer that you want, right? You don't want a picky buyer. Like, what do you want to eat? I don't know. You're picky, like my daughters. I don't know what you want to eat. Tell me. And if you give them mac and cheese, they're going to eat it all up. If you give them exactly what they want. Top dollar versus lowest offer price. Yeah, sellers always want top dollar, and the investor always wants to offer the lowest possible. And your job is to find when they're weak. When these sellers are weak, so you could offer lower. So right now I have a property, the one in Hawthorne I visited, and he's distressed. So we submitted 50,000 less than asking, not that much. But we're going to close in 14 days, no contingency. So there's you have to give a little bit to get your offer accepted, but not everybody's going to accept it. You just have to find a weak moment. Like Janaya, if he has a weak moment to lower the price, you just got to be there at the right time. You got to wait it out. Because eventually the market's going to tell you what the price is. I can't tell you what the price is. Market's telling you the price is too high right now. So misconceptions and myths. So I'm going to go here. Let's see. It's too complicated. That's what I hear a lot. So what you do is you run the comps, you read the condition. Investors are too demanding. That's objection number 2. So objection 1 with agent investors, it's too complicated to work with investors. But you're already looking at inventory as agents. You should be looking at your MLS all the time, or Zillow, which I'll pull up later. That's called the ARV walk. So literally what I do is I pull up Zillow, make a circle, and if it's in Manassas, I'll go 1.1 million plus in Manassas, Virginia. And I know the average price point in Manassas is what, 700? 800?
Yeah, 7. Yeah, some 3 to, it just depends. The prices vary depending
But
on
I
the
know,
area.
but you know that what's luxury? 1, 2, 1, 5. So I try to pull the highest comp, highest price, because I know in this market, what do I have to buy something for it to make sense to sell? So I kind of find ARV comps, and that's basically saying, what does a house look like if it was brand new? If I put new lighting, new cabinets, beautiful floors, painted it nice, added a bathroom, what would that look like? Brand new. If I had a client with a lot of money, he was working at a good government job,
And you talking about in Manassas?
just in general.
Oh,
You want to see, you want to look at it in a market. What if I had a buyer with the best budget? Thanks, Tanya. What would that look like? So a lot of people say it's too complicated, but you're already doing that. You're already negotiating contracts, right? That's your job. So once you get a buyer, right, you do the trust and the relationship, you share the market knowledge, and then once you find a house that they love, you have to negotiate. I mean, Janaya, that's half your job, is when you find an offer, you have to negotiate to make sure that the seller and the buyer are happy.
yeah.
I know Joanne, you're just starting off, and who else did I have? I think Brandy, you have your license in 7 years. This is the time to focus on your avatar, who you want to work with, because you're looking at inventory anyway. So what you want to do is pair people that like to talk about real estate, or you have to hang out in areas where they're likely to transact, right? So think about PTA meetings, soccer. Their kids are constantly growing older, so they're going to need a bigger house. They're renting. They want to own. Are you to be renting forever? Your kids are moving out. Do you want to rent forever? Or do you want to own your house and it'll take you 15 years? And then you have no payment when you retire. I mean, I think we asked that question in the beginning, the 1 and 2. Do you know somebody, or you really haven't been accustomed to growing up with people that have a portfolio? And a portfolio could just be one. That's what the gift that you're giving is home ownership, and it's a great wealth tool. investors aren't too demanding. They're just different. So yesterday, I only spent an hour and a half just driving there and driving back. I didn't show a lot of properties. We sent the offer in. We're getting it accepted, $40,000 left, but I only did show one property. And this client submits about 20 offers a month, has 6 he's actively flipping, and he buys 2 to 3 a month. So I hope to be one of the 3 each month. So I know 1 a month I'm going to sell to this investor. And then I'm going to get the resale value. I'm going to get the ARV when he sells it. So that's 2 commission checks every month from one client. So how could you do that? How could you get 4 transactions out of one investor? It's by saying, what is your model? How many you're doing, right? And sometimes they're in the beginning part. That's probably where you're to meet them. So you have to teach them, right? You have to learn from each other, and that's okay. There's 2 types of investors, probably more than that. So you have to know your room. Some people that buy, renovate, and sell, an active operator, and then a passive. The passive people have the money. Those are the dentists, the lawyers that might want to learn more about real estate, but they want to be active. So you either have to find them a rental and stick them with a tenant and a property management company. Those are the people that want to be passive. And those are good people because they'll keep buying rentals from you and then putting them to a management company. That's called passive capital partners. And they could also contribute to a fix and flip. So you have someone that's a GC. GCs are the best people for flipping houses. All you need is someone, a doctor, someone with high net worth, a good estate, to say, hey, I want to invest in real estate. You say, great, let's structure it. Now you structure in the deal. I have a GC. He's really good at renovating houses. Maybe you could try flipping a house. Give him money, $100,000, and he'll give you 12% return. Or you get 50% of the profit. So if you find something for $400,000, you put 100 into it. You make 100,000 or 50,000. You split the revenue. One wants to be active, the general contractor. You're finding the properties. You're getting the commission, or you're doing the loan. So working with investors could be really, really lucrative. You have to be really speedy on new inventory, and you have to really walk the comps to make sure that you know that if you're going to say it's going to sell for 600,000, it will sell for 600,000. A lot of the people, the restraint is deal flow. They just don't get enough deals, and that's where you come in. They need you, and you are the funnel. You are the person that communicates with the operator, communicates with the person flipping or the person investing, and you might be communicating with helping them find capital partners so they're able to get an outcome. So usually when I'm do with investors, they need 3 things investors need. 1, they need the capital. 2, they need the experience. 3, they need the deal. So you're the connector to get that outcome, and that's how you create repeat clients. So build the MLS filter. This will take you 80 minutes. Build the MLS filter and usually I put distressed, probate, estate, death, tenants. I build that filter in the MLS under the remarks and have it sent to myself. Then I practice the ARV walk, looking at the properties that are distressed, and then what would they sell for if they were really done up right. Then I audit my database to see who owns doors, who would want to do this with me, who would want to buy a rental and do the rental numbers. I know I use Rentometer. If you want to write that down, Rentometer is great, or affordablehousing.com. Those have great rental estimators. So this is a good example in San Fernando Valley. I walked the property. We bought it for $655. She needed $85,000, which she raised from friends, and she profited $105,000. The comps worked out. We actually sold, on average, the ARV was $920. We sold for $1 million. So she did a really good job. And we took something that looked like this. We knocked down the walls. She had a GC that she was friends with. The capital that she raised from were people that I knew. I represented her on the buy. I got $15,000 on the buy and $20,000 on the sell. from one client. And now we're looking again. And she did this. This is the after. So she did a really nice job. You got to make sure I've seen her projects before. This is her model. She's in Granada Hills and in the San Fernando Valley. So if you've ever seen one in Mission Hills or anything with a hill in it, Woodland Hills, she'll take it. She did a really nice job making sure that her finishes were really top tier. Because again, you don't want to work with an investor that doesn't do a good job and that doesn't care about the house they're providing for someone else. And so I'm going to keep going. I have a really good segment here, but investors buy 4 times a year, and that's who you're looking for. So finding deals, put a 1 if you use Zillow, 2 if you use Redfin in the chat. Okay, so Joanne uses Zillow. Akil uses Zillow. I like Zillow too. I don't know why, maybe Redfin. Redfin's also great. But get organized, get your buy box. Let's talk red flags. I use Google Earth and Satellite and Street to kind of look at if it's a good deal.
Are you referring to looking at Zillow just to find properties?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do a combination, Zillow and the MLS.
I mean, my investors use it, so I kind of see what they use. So I'm looking for anything here. I have a video of me. I look at houses only because I like my flippers like using houses, and I like good housing stock. And there's a filter at the very bottom. I make sure your square footage is right. It's really hard to flip something small unless you really know the market. Then keywords. This is gold. You'd also adjust how many days on market. So I put probate, TLC, passed away, investor. So I'm looking for keywords that agents put in the remarks to know that it's distressed. First time on the market. That's one of my most popular ones. And right now I did, I put a keyword in and I saw a foreclosure and I looked through the pictures. Okay. Does this house look beat up?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Okay. So I found one. 839. But now I have to see it walk in the comp. So what I do, Zillow has a cool feature. You look at their map and you look at the satellite, and now I know why it's cheap. They're right by a highway. But look, there's good housing stock around. There's things for that was pendant for $3 million. Oh, but that's a different strategy. So I buy for 839 and I could develop it. So I'm going to send this to a developer that wants to build apartments. I might send it to him. I say, hey, look, there's one for 839, and then you could build apartments and sell it for $3 million, just like this one. So again, you have to be an expert with inventory, whether you're working with first-time home buyers.
That is so cool. You literally found an opportunity, you know.
Right.
Lisa has a comment or question that's I think is right on target.
Go ahead.
Where can you find good investors? I have one who is a relative. He's slow. He flips every 18 months, and he's a GC that does most of his work. So prospecting, where would someone starting off that wants to work with investors, how should they prospect?
If I was an agent, prospecting for investors, there's maybe one thing on Facebook you could do is posting deals on Facebook that you like, and not labeling the address. So any Facebook community, you join a bunch of Facebook communities. You could start with wholesale, like wholesale in the IE or wholesale in Los Angeles and join a bunch of groups where investors hang out. So I look at Facebook communities. Those are like the best go-to, and you post distressed opportunities because you have, let's face it, the biggest housing inventory on the MLS. All you have to do is post the photos and the pictures, but no address, and then say DM for more information. Or you could go through the posts and see who's active and reach out to them and build a database that way. Eventbrite, Meetup.com are also great. So Meetup.com and Eventbrite have public investor meetups like Grid. So if there's a local Grid chapter, you can meet investors that way through meetups. And that's how I met a lot of my investors.
That's nice. Thank you so much for that.
Here's an example deal. You're welcome. So this one was in Glendale, and it was listed, you could see on Zillow, was listed for $934. And it sold for $850. So again, you could probably put this on Facebook. You could probably send this to people that you meet. You know, it looked distressed, didn't have great pictures. I download, if you have an iPhone or Android, I would download this app. It's free. It does a free floor plan using AI. Have you guys used CubiCasa?
No.
Oh yeah.
Never heard of it.
So
Yeah,
it
you
does
do
a
your
floor
floor
plan
plan.
for like your listing or like a house that you're in?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's great. I get to walk it, and it's a great tool to see if there's added square footage. Again, a value add opportunity. See if I get signed in here. So it's free. You could also do the paid model. So if you have a listing that doesn't have floor plans, you have to do it. Just disclose that, you know, to double check the square footage because you're not a third party. So right now, oh, am I sharing this? Can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. This one, so they're all free November 18th. All right, let's see this one. Oh.
This is on
So
CubiCasa.
yeah, so it tells you the square footage that you measured, 1680. So I do this a lot, walk the property, and it really gives a value add for an investor. If they send you a property, you could walk it and use that app to measure the square footage, or if you have a listing. So it's free, and you could pay for upgrades. If you really want to work with investors, there's software out there that help you do the ARVs, and I'll make 2 of them. They use AI as well. Yeah, good deals are hiding in. They give you the before and after photos. Privy, Privy. Okay. So let's see what I'm doing here. So it goes through the rental comps with you.
Ooh, Privy does?
Privy does, yeah.
That's cool.
We're going to make sure all of these links are added in the module we create from this this presentation. So if you're on the call, you'll be able to refer back to both Cubi and Privy by visiting the video module in the classroom.
Cool. And I could send them to you guys so you have. So it's really cool. It actually gives you before and after shots of properties that were flipped, and you could find investors that way. You could call up the investors through this platform that you see flip in the area. They give you good examples of, because again, we're looking for a model. So they give you the model and kind of show you houses that have been flipped. Let's see.
Nick, is Privy also free, or is that something that the agents will have to pay for?
The agents have to pay for it. I think it's $30. I
Okay.
pay for it. What's the address of your listing that was taken off the market?
Mine,
Mm-hmm.
540 West 118th Street in Los Angeles.
Oh, I just wrote my offer on 118th Street, but it was, forgot, what was it? Was it 15?
Yeah, that was the old picture. Yep.
Okay, so it gives you all the information. The coolest thing you go to comparables right here. So my property's here, and so how would I underwrite it 3 different ways? So I'm sure you guys aren't selling for 550, right?
No,
They put another house on the lot,
they did.
and it's renting for a good amount of money, right?
Correct.
Like 3,500. But it gives you models. So someone bought for 530 and sold for 840.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So this guy right here. So that's what this flipper did. So you could see, okay, I need a buy for 550 here, and that's my ARV. So if I have a buyer in this area, I'm gonna say, well, 550 would kind of do it. Okay. Oh, this guy bought it for 550. He's doing 750. And then the rentals, I think you were wondering about. 3 beds, square foot 1,000, get about 3,300 in rent.
mm-hmm. I love that.
And then it pulls up right here.
It's just like a one-stop shop to get all the information.
It is. It's worth it if you really
And
want
then
to
it
get
just
good at
backs
your
up
inventory.
your professional opinion on where they should list it or whatnot. It gives them the data to look at too. So I like that. That's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. So Nick, we're already at 9 p.m. for some of our folks.
Man. Oh man, that's right. You guys are.
I do have a quick question. I think it's going to touch on a question I've had personally, but gives us some insight. So on the investor side, you see things from a different angle. You see the market from a different angle because you're searching for distressed properties primarily. Are you seeing an influx in distressed properties right now?
Baby boomers can't take care of their houses. They pass it away, and then the estate can't hold on to it because it costs money. So yeah, I am seeing that, but I do see opportunities like, to own a house. If you ask the right questions, to maybe help them out as a realtor because you're the connector. But yeah, I am seeing a lot
Are
more.
you seeing a high number in foreclosures and short sales?
Yeah, it's definitely picked up for sure. People have held on to it, and the forbearance was lifted after COVID.
Yeah.
So
Good deal. This is a good call.
Because you can. Oh, how do investors go after bank-owned homes? Is that what that said? I lost it.
Yeah. Bank-owned homes, if they are not on the MLS, they have the letters on the door. So basically, how are these investors getting access to those bank-owned properties if they're not yet on the MLS?
I've been doing this for a long time, and you don't want to. Good for you. I'll list it on the back end and get my nice fancy commission. Finding these foreclosed and distressed, then you should point them to resources, auction.com. There's Investor Lift.
Investor Lift
Investor Lift is a wholesale platform.
and auction.com.
Auction.com.
Yeah, I don't have my pen. You got
syndicate.
it? You writing it down? Okay.
Auction.com. And you could actually look at all the individual auction. There's so many little ones, but auction.com kind of syndicates all of them. And you could ask chat too, like, what are the best auction ones? And literally, like you said, the letters on the door, you could go to your city, like ChatGPT, like, how do I, find a list of, so that's when they don't pay their taxes. For banks, it's a little bit harder, Those are REOs, but auction.com, investorlift.com, those are great, but you're not going to get paid a commission. And you point them in those directions, you point them to the Facebook communities, you say, hey, list it on the back end with me, because you're not going to get that 4 times commission. And they don't trust you, right? We got to control the inventory. That's the MLS. That's going to get you the 2 and 2.5%. So I'd say, hey, look, those are great, but you're also inheriting the risk, right? So I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you buy from the bank, sometimes you can't even see the inside the property until you close.
Right.
So your investor is inheriting that risk. So I wouldn't recommend it for someone starting off.
So I have a quick question. Since I just got my license and brand new to real estate. And of course, once my name got out to realtor.com, I received this message. So I was just a little confused. So it just says, congrats on getting your license. The test was so hard. I own the Vaughn Group. We're a brokerage that just helps our investors buy, fix, and flips. By chance, would you have any interest in working with us as one of your investors? Is this kind of like what you're talking about? Like, because it says, would you have any interest in working with us as one of your investors? So would I be like an agent finding homes for them?
I don't know what you all do, but sometimes I call them and I ask them, like, how many properties have you bought? You know, are you looking for money? Are you looking for a deal? Are you looking for a house? Are you looking for money? It sounds to me they're looking for you to invest in their community and buy properties together. So they're looking for your money, because most of the people that get their license, you know, sometimes just want to get it to invest in real estate. So I think that's a solicitation for your money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Because I said, well, you know, I can't do anything right now, but tell me about it. And then never heard anything.
Yeah, dealing.
So.
Yeah, I like playing around with those, but most of the time they're just fishing. But the ones I do like is, like, I sold one on 123 Main Street in Glendale. You know, do you have any off-market fixers? And then you call them up. That's an investor. If they give you like an address, like some of that spam, they're smart. Like, these smart investors know that agents control the inventory. So don't discard some of them. You know, call them up. Hey, like, what was the last one you bought? And that's a good investor.
Okay.
Do you get that, Kenise, a lot? Like,
Every day.
looking for
Every
off-market
day.
fixers?
Every day. All day. Every day. And I block them. Leave me alone.
Don't. Just block the bad ones. See the ones you could grow relationships with.
Well, most of my clients and a lot of the agents may be in our community may be able to attest. And Joan, if you're looking for a solid community, you've arrived. Be sure to check out the Agent Lab RE, Joan. Anyhow, most of my sellers want to go onto the market to get the highest amount. The investors, sometimes their prices can be so disrespectful, and it's because they has to make sense for them, right? And so my clients are not interested. And a lot of the times I can get them more just going on the market with someone using a FHA renovation loan or VA. You know, I can get them more where there's somebody that's going to potentially live in the property, but just use a 203 or something like that. So I've worked with investors. It's just not my favorite.
A lot of people aren't my favorite.
Okay, fine, Nick.
I think you just need to find them to lead. You know, I'm not saying discard investors, because they do, you know, that out of 100, you know, you might find a few, right? Because it's such a bad stigma, like wholesale and stuff like that. I think there are good people out there that are developers that kind of hold themselves to a higher standard, and you just got to teach people that it's a good way to make $100,000 and make your own investors. I don't know, but I hear you. Yeah, always go on the MLS, but maybe there's a situation where there, you know, there's too many errors, or it's by a highway that it might make sense to sell it for a discount, because they need money to move. They need money because of this, the repairs. And right now, it's harder to sell houses, so people want it kind of done up for themselves.
Absolutely. Buyers have choices and buyers don't want to have to fix anything. They're not, rates are not, it's not cheap to borrow money anymore. So they have to go in there and look around and say, okay, I can actually move in here and I'm ready to go, So
Yeah, look
the
out for
margins,
opportunities. If you need help with a listing, I'm sure Kenise, myself, experience, we're better together. And sometimes it works really well. But someone could look at it from a different angle, and that's what community is for, is kind of finding a situation that's challenging. You're like, nah, I don't want to waste my time. That's probably a good way to bring it up with a teammate, a community member.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Nick. This was
You're
good.
Thank you, Nick.
Oh, and we're
Great.
gonna need this recorded call, Nick, because this was your link. So we're gonna need
Yep.
this so we can create a module behind this.
And I'll make sure I include, is it Grid LA Investors Club? I'll include that in the module as well. So we'll have that set up. Our assistant will set it up and include the recording, the links, and the direct link to Grid LA.
And if any of you are interested in joining that investment or investor community, it's really good. It's wonderful.
Yeah, let's do deals. Thank you. I put for Angie and you guys, I love Lovable. It's like Claude, and I built my website off of it. But I also did a back to basics, so kind of a worksheet if you're just starting off in real estate. I used to be with Keller Williams. Love them for training, but it gives you like some income goals. Kind of working backwards. What's your focus? And what your goals are per week, and then where you're going to get leads from, Chamber of Commerce, book clubs, stuff like that. So I dropped that in the chat.
Good deal.
And maybe I'll be a part of your community. Once I start, I'm head down right now. I'm so focused, but when I get my next closing, I'll treat myself to another community.
Absolutely.
We have something coming in the near future that you might want to be a part of, so we'll keep you in mind.
Yes.
Perfect. I can't wait.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
You, Nick. Have a good evening, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.